if that helps or not, but good morning, everyone. It's been a while since we've done any live streams, and just took a sabbatical away from the sim after World Flight. But anyway, we're back and hope to be doing some more. Today, we're going to be doing some testing on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 in this Flight Simulator Center cockpit, 738 cockpit. And just kind of brief history, we're running this system, it's via ProSim. So what does that mean for those that may not be aware of how this system works? FSC provided the hardware, and then the software is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And as if you didn't already notice, we have gates but no buildings. That's because the add-on software is not, I don't have the add-on software for this particular airport, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure why the defaults don't show up, but it is what it is. So that's part of the testing process. But anyway, so ProSim is the interface between Microsoft Flight Simulator and this physical hardware. And we're running version 3.34.1. So version 3.34.1, I believe that's correct. I'll double check. Let's see. 3.34.1, as you can see on the CDU. And so why are we doing all this? Why am I telling you all this? Is as of the purchase, when I purchased this cockpit, it was set up originally for Flight Simulator 2020. And as those of you know that have been following the system, Microsoft's not really focusing on 2020 as much anymore, and they're putting all their efforts on 2024. So it's logic would dictate, then that's the platform we need to move to, and it certainly is a more robust platform. I've noticed on a few of the flights that I've made, the simulation's much more robust. It's smoother. The airplane feels better, so to the extent that ProSim is working with Microsoft to get their software interface working, it feels pretty good. But there are some issues that we have to work out between Flight Sim Center and ProSim and Microsoft Flight Simulator. Examples of that is, for instance, the hardware for the hydraulics effect in the yokes. If the hydraulics are off, as they are now in the system, these yokes should be real heavy to move, and they should not affect the controls at all, and they do. Also in the software, it should report failure. Right now it does not. It's like everything is normal. And the other major element for me is the movement of the yokes. These are control loading yokes. And they should follow, they're not just on a spring and a wire. They actually follow the dynamics of the aircraft movement. So in a real aircraft, when the control surfaces move, the yokes move in the pitch axis and the roll axis. In 2020, this works on the roll axis. The pitch axis, not so much. But in 2024, nothing works. So I'm working with the engineers at Flight Sim Center to, they're going to start doing some testing, because per them, if ProSim supports it, they're going to support it. And ProSim is their only software that they sell to customers like myself and flight schools when they purchase a hardware setup like this as the interface. So it's logic would dictate that, you know, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is popular. A lot of people are wanting to use it, and so Flight Sim Center needs to support it fully. Great hardware, fantastic hardware. It just doesn't all work as it should in the real aircraft. So with that being said, I've babbled enough. We're going to do a flight today between Las Vegas and Los Angeles. Unfortunately, there's no one online on VATSIM today, but we're going to stay online in case somebody pops in, so we'll have air traffic control support along the way. Some of my colleagues have used say intentions, and I've played around with it a little bit, but I'm trying to focus on the hardware to pick up on any problems that may surface. I've had a few things from the startup sequence that have caused issues. Right now it looks like everything is okay for this flight, so we'll see, and I'll try to point those out as we go along. So welcome aboard. All right, I should have a flight plan. Nope, let's see, upload, import from SimBrief. All right, so that's there in Navigraph. $45.37. Let's view that. Nope. Ignore that. Let's go back here. So I want to go 45.36. There we go. Sorry. Los Angeles to Las Vegas to Los Angeles. Let's edit this so we can get the current time. No ETOPS. And generate. I already have my RSs aligned, so I skipped all of that because in order to get this up and running and get the stream and all that set up, I need to kind of go through all that ahead of time, so it's already done. I'm going to set our altitude at 28. That's what we have here. All right, so we'll go through our originating checklist. Now this cockpit is well set up. There's custom lighting for both the captain side and the FO side. There's even the night lighting, map lighting associated in red or white, and I can change them to white if I want to. There's all the lighting, the dimmer lighting, panel lighting, everything is set up in here, so that's real nice. And then I'll turn this one overhead off since I'm not looking at the camera now. And it helps with the darker it is inside the cockpit, the better it looks outside, but it's a limitation of the camera, so apologize for that. All right, so our model today is a 737-800, 26K rating on the engines. The current air cycle is 2603. Thank you, Navigraph. Effective through April 15 of 26. We are running ProSim 3.34.1. I may go to 36, but we'll see. And this follows along with the Boeing CDU data of 10.81. So if you're into that level of detail about what features the CDUs have, you can do some research and see what that uniform 10.8.alpha or alpha equates to. All right, so we're going to indicate plug in our reference airport. We're not going to worry about the gate. We're just going to select our left GPS, and then we're going to go, oh, it's already set, so I don't have to even worry about it. Route, origin, and then we'll request it here. All right, so obviously our battery is on. That's interesting. Okay. And we do have ground power. I had that off because I had restarted the system and shut down ProSim, started it up again, so that's why some of the switches are not in their cold and dark state. And I do want to change this to cold and dark. So one of the things you can do, and since we're just killing some time here, I'll pull this up on the main screen. So this is ProSim. And I can go into the configuration. And of course, it's going to put it on this screen. And then you can set it, the startup situation is ready. So if I switch it to cold and dark, then the next time this starts, if I shut ProSim down and restart it, cockpit's going to go black and it'll be starting over. I don't think it will affect it now though unless I restart ProSim. So we're just going to minimize this for now. And Active Sky is not on, so let's get that up and running. So we have a dispatch load sheet. Voltmeter is set. Battery is on. Battery switch is on and guarded. Standby power is auto and guarded. Alternate flaps are off and guarded. Pumps are all off. Wipers are both in park. Hydraulic pumps are all off. Landing gear down 3 greens, top and in bottom. And weather radar. So now you can see the so Active Sky now is no longer red because it's running, and we have clear skies. All right, I'm going to move this window for vPilot out of the way so it's not or 81. So Active Sky also provides a lot of good weather. I mean, all the weather information. So I got my 2991 marks, and that's my altimeter setting. So I'm going to leave that there. That's good. All right. That was a weather radar test, is what I was doing there. So let's check our fire. So in up, we have 2 lights at 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'll do our fire test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in the sound, so that checks. Squibs left, squibs right, 3 greens, so that all checks out. So we're good to start the APU. We are on ground power, and that's confirmed in the overhead. And the bleeds are set. I keep them in auto on, and the APU will be on. It's off now, but we're going to go ahead and start it after we load our flight plan. So I requested the flight plan into CDU. So what I typically have to do, I'm going to clear this. There's nothing in the scratch pad, but if I hit route, now it's going to show load. There's nothing to tell you to do that except that I've just done it so many times. I'm used to how ProSim works, and then I'll activate it. Again, it shows this loaded. I can clear that out of the scratch pad. If I go to legs, so there's the only break is Shatner black, and so I can clear the disco and execute. Now my basic route is loaded, but I don't have any departures or arrivals. So let's see what we're calling for here. So we're going to depart 26 right, and that's going to be on the radar 2 with the black transition. Black transition, and then execute. Then I'll departure arrival again. Look at my arrival. That's going to be 24 right. And we will take ILS 24 right. And that's going to be the Angel 4 with the Shatner transition. Now, some of you that follow may probably think, man, you do the same thing all the time. Well, right now I am, because I'm trying to get this this route's very predictable for me, so I know what to expect, and if something goes wrong, I'll know right away because I know how the flight should proceed. So we're going to go backwards through these. We got 5 pages. We're going to go backwards through this, and right here, but Circus, and I call it Merced, but it's probably just Mercy. Let's go over here to our routing, and we don't have the arrival. What is that? That's the wrong flight. Upload, import, sim brief. There we go. That's better. Radar 2, Angel 4, and then I want the arrival, or the approach is going to be 24 right. ILS 24 right. We'll pick Cat 3 just in case the weather's ugly. Now, why am I doing this? Because if you zoom in here, you're going to notice, let's hide this out the way. You're going to notice on the CDU it says Circus, and then there's a disconnect, and then Mercy. Well, if you notice on the approach plate, you got Circus up here, and then Mercy's way down here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 waypoints that are not included. Technically, I could probably get away with just Skull because everything else is a straight line from there, but just for the sticklers of authenticity, we'll put them all in there. So there's Decor, Delta Echo Charlie Oscar Romeo. Did it not take it? Delta Echo Charlie Oscar Romeo, Decor. Yep. Interesting, not taking it. Let's see if we can get this. Look at the legs here. Sometimes entering it on a separate, on the other CDU works. So let's go COR. Yep, and it's that one. So that worked. Interesting. Yeah, it ended up there. So let's try the next one. So it had to select the waypoint that it wanted, which is usually the top one, closest one. So Brea, B-R-E-E-A. So that one took. So first note, and that could be an issue with the ProSim version that's causing that, so more than likely that's what it is. PALAC, Papa Alpha, Lima Alpha Charlie. Double check PALAC, we'll enter that below Brea. That took, so now we got to go down to the next page so we can get a blank spot. There's Livin, L-I-V-V-N. Enter that one, and then Broke, B-R-O-U-K, which is exactly what I am now that after buying this thing. And then Mercy. So now I've got it where I need it. So what I can do here is just hit Mercy, clear the disco, and execute. And now if I go to plan, everything should line up except for black. So if we're going to continue on through, so 6, there's Livin. Alright, so there's the disco. So here what I do is I hit on black, or punch up black, and then find black here, and just, that clears out all the discos between them. And now we have a clean slate. So if I step through it, each leg, zoom out a little bit so you can see a little bit more how that's doing. So it's going through, yep, there's each of them. All right, so here you can see it clearly. So you see there's Circus. We're right on Circus. It's centered. Whoops. All right. I think it just locked up. Yep. All right. Well, that's the end of this flight because I'm going to have to reset everything. But that's one of the issues. Sometimes it glitches out, and I don't know if it's Microsoft or, let's see if I have anything with Microsoft here. All right, so GSX is not working because it doesn't think that the, yeah, so I have a no parking brake or anything, so basically what that means is the software has crashed. So it's lost continuity between the flight simulator hub software, which is, yeah, this is the software that FSC is working on to get working, so it will not do this. All right, so let me try exiting this. Sometimes if I exit out and restart it, and I can't shut that thing up, unfortunately. All right, let's try. Maybe just relaunching this will clear it up. We'll see. Yeah, sometimes just restarting it will fix it, but yeah. Yeah, so maybe the only way to shut this off is going to be going through. I don't know if I can kill that app through. Yeah, maybe here. All right, so I just stopped the engine that runs GSX Colt or whatever that's called. Okay, I don't see anything else that's running with that. Yeah, I don't know how to get rid of that. It's probably just going to have to restart Microsoft. Okay, so let's try one other thing here. Yeah. So the other piece of software that's running is this one here. And as you can see, it's supposed to show on the axis here. It should show, this should move on the pitch roll and yaw axis, and it's not. So that tells me that it's disconnected. So I'm just going to kill this and try relaunching it. And there it came to life. You saw the yokes move. So for whatever reason, see, so now you have position. I said the yaw axis is not connected to that, but you got pitch and you got roll, so that's working. The hydraulic failure I was talking about is right here. You see this hydraulic failure? It says 0, which would indicate that we have hydraulic pressure. Well, technically we do not. Yeah, and everything is locked up. Yeah, I'm going to have to restart the sim, so we can try it. But this is the nature of, and it's done this a couple of times in 2022, so I can't blame it totally on ProSim and the FSC software. So what I do here is I've got an app that I run. It's called ProSim Stop, and that's going to shut everything down. So we're going to make sure all of this is off. It's all off. Yaw damper's off. Emergency lights. It's all off. And yeah, see, it's completely. Yeah, what this means when I power everything down like this and I'm getting no response. Yeah, ProSim is having a hard time connecting, so it should go out. All right, so let me restart ProSim and see what this does, if anything. Sometimes I have to do a complete power down of the unit. You may not even be able to hear me talking because I don't have any audio going through the system. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, no, you can still hear me good. All right, so as you can see, ProSim is restarting. and everything in the cockpit should go black, should go dark. May lose the audio here in a minute, if we haven't lost it already. No, it's still there, good. Yeah, see, that's interesting. Everything should be black, should be dark, completely dark. Yeah, I should have no lights on in here at all, so that tells me I'm going to try to reboot this thing, and I'm not going to stop the stream, so just bear with me. What I will have to do, though, is, no, I shouldn't have shut Microsoft down. We'll just try without it, without shutting the system down. Just so you guys know what I'm doing here, I reran the prosim stop, which basically it's a script, a PowerShell script that goes through and it shuts down all the software that's running in the system, including prosim. And then from there, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shut down the NUCs. So there's a NUC for each one of this, for the captain and the FO and the audio. To power those down properly, you've got to use PowerShell and administration to shut those down. You physically power them off because there's no power switch to power them down like you'd shut your PC down. So that's how that's done. So I have to do that first. Then I'll come back and I'll turn the power completely off of the MIP and the audio amp and everything, and then recycle the power up again. Because I should have no lights on in the cockpit right now because everything's off, but there's some residual that's hanging in there. So that tells me that the software is not properly executed. So. So you can see the power switch is turning off on the FO NUC, and so it just went dark, and then now the the captain side went dark, so those NUCs are completely shut down. Now Okay, we're coming back up now. ProSim's restarting. But you notice the lights are, some of the lights are coming on and it's going to go all dark again, which is what it should have done earlier. Yeah, see now it's shutting everything off. Alright, so let's try this again. Battery on. And it takes a bit for the let me restart the iOS because it may not be registering. You have to, in order to get the ground power on, I've got to launch it through the ProSim iOS, which is another piece of software. I don't think it'll work through ground call at this point. Oh, we'll get to do the FMC again. Alright, so that's coming back to life. Alright, so that's working the way it's supposed to. Turn that down. Let's see if we still have our... Yeah, so the other problem that I've been having is this lower DU. So you saw it a while ago, it was working. Power cycle everything, and now it's out again. I do have this information. Whoop, yep, there it's coming back. Come on back. Come on, you can do it. Flashback, flashback. That's kind of what it's been doing, and I don't know what the issue is there. And I kind of needed to see the hydraulics. It's showing 40 psi in that one side, but we know that's anyway. Okay, so we went through all that. That's good. We're going to go KLAS again. So all of this has been in an effort to try to get. That's interesting. That should have been cold and dark. So. CDU. Yep, hydraulics are not working. Yep, off. CDU waypoint. That's decor, I think, is what it was. This is KLAS to KLAX. Yeah, sure. It may come back. It's hard to say sometimes. It comes back when it wants to. I've pulled all of this. The downside, in order to get to the circuit board on this display underneath that drives the display, you got to pull the entire pedestal out. You got to pull the entire throttle quadrant out, and then you got to pull this back plate of the front of the MIP off so that you can get access to underneath there, where ideally this should all come out from the top. But in order to do that, you have to pull the CDUs out, and then there's a clip, a U-clip that holds this piece down. It's a great design if you're only accessing it from the build standpoint, when you can have full access to everything, but when it's all put together, it's, you know, the only way to replace that is to pull all of this stuff out, and then to try to troubleshoot how it's working when you don't have all of this plugged in, because the wiring that comes off of the MIP that plugs into the throttle quadrant and the pedestal are not long enough to have this stuff sitting out here off to the side while you're laying down underneath here looking up underneath this panel to work on it. So servicing it can be a little bit challenging. Okay, so waypoint decor. All right, so let's see. So we still have our flight plan. That's in place. The route, we're going to resubmit that again. All right, and again, the way you do this is you go route, load, activate, and you can either look at the legs and clear this out now, or you can clear it out later. But if you want to clear it out, you got to clear the discontinuities out, execute. The other thing I need to do is request from FSC. They send me another set of these buttons, because fingernails, the page up, page down, legs, I mean, all the ones you use a lot of, they're starting to get wearing the paint out of them, and it's chipping away to where, I know where they are because I've flown this so much, but it looks kind of bad. So another set of buttons, at least for the upper buttons. Don't really need them for the lower ones. It's just the way you hit these, there's plenty of room, but these not so much. Okay, so let's go to departure, and departure is going to be 26 right, radar 2, black transition, execute. Arrival is going to be ILS 24 right, Angel 4, Shatner transition, execute, legs, backwards through this. Mercy or Circus, it's going to be Skull, so that's Sierra, Kilo, Oscar, Lima, Lima. See if that does that again. And there's Decor, Delta Echo, Charlie, Oscar, Romeo. Yep, see, now it pops up. So you all are eyewitnesses to this if you're still watching through this. B-R-E-E-A, Bria. Boom, there it goes. And then Palac, Papa Alpha, Lima Alpha Charlie. Page down. Livin, L-I-V-V-N. There we go. Livin, and last but certainly not least is Broke, which I am after purchasing this cockpit. Broke. Okay, and then we'll clear the disco at Mercy. All right, so we're good there. That worked. Hopefully it won't do that again. Then I'm going to go to config, and I'm going to put this on PAX Cargo so I can get my CG. We don't need to step through that again, so we're going to put that there, and init ref, we're going to go request our performance data, which will come from SimBrief. So we can go back over here to SimBrief, and we're going to request our takeoff data. And I like that. We're going to load it. We're going to execute it, clear that out of the way, the scratch pad. We're going to get our select temperature from our takeoff performance. That's 29907. We're going to calculate this and adjust our 29977. Wow, okay. And we can validate that by, for those of you who aren't pilots and aren't sure how, don't recall how this works or don't understand how this works, you can always validate your baro by the field elevation when you're on the ground. So what's the field elevation? Calculate this real quick, and I'll show you on, we go to Los Angeles, and the field elevation at Las Vegas is 2183, and 2183 is pretty close. I would say that's as close as we're going to get for that. So I'd say the barrel's good. So just look at your published field elevation, and you'll know. All right, so here we're looking under. Yeah, we're still outputting this. Okay, make sure you guys can follow along with what I'm doing here because I'm on this takeoff performance sheet. So select temperature is 48. D rate is D1. We'll go to takeoff. Flaps are going to be 5. CG 19.5. 19.5. Oh, what? You don't like that? Oh. 19.5. How about that? And then 5 for the flaps. There we go. And then I'm going to adjust my trim accordingly. So trim is 578. And then you've got a readout here on the upper DU and the lower DU as well, if you want to get exact. Oh, sorry, I passed it up. All right, 578, because this is not going to be super. This is, I don't know, this is somewhere between 6 and 7 on this tab, so I don't really trust the tab. It's the detail of the accuracy of this is really only important for takeoff, because you can really feel it if it's way out, because as soon as you wheels up and you either let off the yoke, it's either going to pitch down or pitch up if its trim's not set right. So, but it's not the end of the world. All right, we'll go ahead and set the rejected takeoff, and then according to the performance calculator on SimBrief, V1, VR, V2 is 148, 152, and 158 respectively. If I go with what's in here, I'm nowhere near that. If someone can explain it, let me know. But I'm good with leaving it there because that's the calculation that the airplane is looking for, best of my understanding. So not my area of expertise, but I believe that's correct. Okay, so that's all set. We're going to set, next thing we're going to set 140 in the MCP speed, and then we're going to go to, I'm going to look at our runways. So that's 26 right is our departure, so we're going to look at the heading of 259. 259. And then we're going to look at the radar 2 departure. And the top altitude on that is 19,000. So if I were under ATC control, which I'm not, that would be the top altitude, and then I would expect ATC to give me further clearance. I do know that my cruise altitude for this route is 28,000, and I'm going to make sure that's in my pressurization. And I'm going to put 2200 in the landing altitude in case I have to come back here. But then I'll shift it over to Los Angeles once we get airborne. All right, let's continue through our checks. Panel, we have electrical panel is set, cabin switches are on, and passenger seats are on. Our selectors are set to nav, and they are on. Air conditioning panel is as required. CDUs just checked. We set those. Flaps are up. Fuel cutoffs are off. Parking brake is set. Exterior lights are set. That's all off. Anti-collision is going to be on when we get ready to start the APU. LA devices, that's checked. EECs are on and guarded. Reversers are off. Mach speed warning. Flight recorder check. Stall warning. No stall warning. No stall warning. Okay. It's probably not set inside of there's a setting inside of ProSim that you have to configure, and it may not be. So for 2024. It's set for 2020. No stick shaker. Okay. Crew oxygen is 16. Passenger oxygen is normal. PSEU is off and guarded. Flight controls are off and guarded. Lights check. Looks good. Yaw damper is on. Navigation's normal, normal, normal. Displays are auto normal. Crossfeed valve is open. Confirmed operational. And I've got the fuel on. Forward 1 for the APU. We'll put the APU battery switch in there so we know when it's on. Emergency exits smoking and auto is good. Yeah, so we're good on our CDU. Everything is set there. So we're going to set this FOCDU on progress, and we'll leave this one on this page for now. The other way I check these to make sure the programming is set for the CDU is if I hit VNAV and LNAV, assuming that I have a departure and an arrival plugged in, or at least a departure plugged in, these should light up green, so that way I know that's all cool. And we'll table the auto throttle for when we're about ready to take off. Let's see what else. Window heat is on. Probe heat is on auto. We're going to leave our engines, electricals, engine 1 and 2 or B's off and A's on. A's off, B's on, excuse me. And packs, auto recirc is, our recircs are in auto, packs are in auto, and I'll leave the engines on because they're not running, they're not doing anything at this point. So next thing is we're going to start the APU. Anti-collision light is on, and we'll look for green. And EFS panel is set. CDU and as well steering is good. Main panel lower DUs are in normal. N1 and speed refs are set to auto. Yeah, so one of the good things about doing why I continue to record this through this whole process is for those of you that have talked about getting a setup like this. It's not always as simple as just coming in, turning the switch, couple switches on, and going flying. It can be rather arduous, the complete setup. All right, so we've got ATIS as best we can. There's really nothing. I pulled it off of pulled the weather information off of Active Sky. Clearance, we're going to self-clearance ourselves, self-departure. CDU's programmed, radios are set, EFS panel is set, mode control panel is set. Clock is set. Nose wheel steering, we went through that. That's all guarded. Standby gauges checked. We got our artificial horizon, looks good. Standby altimeter set. Speed is checked. We've got our takeoff speed. V2 is set in the PFD. Our altitude is set. Maximum is set in a PFD, so that's all showing up. And V1 is indicated as well, and we've got our heading for departure set as well as the course. So we're good, and we have APU active. Go to the APU on the bus, and then I can kill the ground power. And I am going to call for, if I can, maybe I can't. Let's see. Should be able to. This may not have reloaded. Let's see if we can do it here manually. Okay, so it's not in the, it's not in, it does it automatically, so I never really think about having to start it. So let's see. Don't need, let's see if I have a shortcut in here for it. Nope, doesn't look like it. Oh, well, I've got this. Maybe because I didn't shut down Microsoft and started over, that may be a sign of, oh, there we go. Okay. So we're going to use GSX for pushback, and we'll select Southwest. Okay. Before push, with zero fuel weight is set, N1s are set, V-speeds are set, stab trim is set, transponder set, fuel pumps on is required. We'll go ahead and put all of these on. And as soon as they tell us to remove the brakes or release the brakes, then I'll pull the packs off. I tell you, one of the many impressive things about 2024 is the clouds. Just absolutely fantastic visuals. All right, we want the nose to the right. All right. Oh. So, all right, so the hub is, brakes are not working, so that, oh, now they are. We'll turn the packs off and we'll ground on one. N2 coming up. Looking for 25. There's 25, introduce fuel. So I can monitor the hub. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So, come on. I can monitor the hub, so anything that I do, like if I move the flap lever, you can see, so I know that this, and it says it's connected, but that doesn't always mean anything. Sometimes it's not responsive, but you'll see any movement in the TQ is going to show up in here. All right, so there we go. Number 1 cutoff is good. And the engine start switch is good, so we're going to start number 2, or number 1 rather, sorry. And we're getting into coming up. So I usually monitor both this one. Okay, there's 25, fuel cutoff to idle. So I can monitor both of these if I want to. Okay. Okay, so a little sporadicness on the parking brake. I don't know what that's all about, but we're good there. So now they need me to tell them that I've got a good start. And some of this could be tied to GSX. I don't know. Some of this craziness, the way it's acting, could be partially them. All right, so pushback time was noted. Bleed air pressure, we've all started. That's fine. Anti-collision lights done. Sequence was good. Sorry, I'm not a stickler for all this every time I fly. So anyway, hydraulics are on. Pro beats to auto. Engine generators on the bus. Oh, yeah, looks good. And we're going to take the packs on auto, APU off. So that's good. Yep. Recall check. Flaps are going to be set to 5. Weather radar is set to auto. I don't really think we're going to need a weather radar today, but we'll leave it nonetheless. Flaps are in transition to 5 for takeoff, and she's going to, hello, goodbye. All right, so let's go look at our flight controls here. I'm good with that. All right, so before taxi, fuel cutoff levers in idle detent. Generators are on, that's checked. Voltmeter is on generator 1 and 2 is checked. I'll leave it on 1. Probe heat switches are on. Wing engine anti-ice. Engine anti-ice is off. Hydraulic pumps are all in auto and packs are auto. Exterior lights are taxi and runway turnoff. Master caution recall checked. Flaps are set for takeoff. Transponder in TARA confirmed. And weather radar is auto. Flight controls free and clear. Let's taxi. So typically what we do here in a control field that should be controlled but isn't, and we're taking off 26 right, that's 119.9. So I'm going to go here. Switch it. What is my call sign? 4533, I believe. No, 45, what is it here? Let's go connect. 4536. I hope they're not in. Las Vegas traffic, Southwest 4536, taxi in via Bravo to 26 right, Las Vegas. Yeah, I mean, overall, 2024 is quite a bit smoother with no, I mean, I'm just letting it run on auto with a 4090 and these three 85-inch screens, not doing anything special. Yeah, so the other hope of this video is to some of the FSC guys that can go back after I post my message to them about my findings. If they want to see exactly what I'm experiencing, they can jump through the video and see. Maybe I'll put some timestamps on where exactly certain things were presented, just to help them out a little bit on the troubleshooting. It's a little bit of jerkiness on the side screens, but not that bad. Alright, so lights on, it's off, flight attendants, we're auto throttle on. Yeah, I can steer the airplane with my rudder pedals anytime, but technically you're supposed to do it with the tiller, and man, I'm not feeling anything. I hope these things are connected. Nope. Shoot. Hang on. If I can get my... Come on.
Rotate.
I had to pause it so I can shut this software down and restart it, because it stops running just randomly. Yeah, so that's what it normally does when you're running down the runway, is it's shaking like this. And then I gotta wait for my mouse to get back so I can resume, and then I can rotate. Wee-hee! Welcome to my nightmare. Alright, so positive rate, gear up, RTO off. Oh, now I have no trim, so that means I gotta restart the TQ software. Okay, so let's start that. Fortunately, oh, come on. Yep, no trim. Come on, mouse. So I restart the TQ software, which is supposed to start automatically, but it doesn't. And then now I have my trim back. So yeah, it's sort of, it's an interesting dance. All right, let's get back on our path here. And we'll go flaps 1. Or flaps 2, rather. So it was definitely out of trim after restarting the software. Man. I had to trim it that much to keep the pressure off of the yoke. Alright, so let's go ahead and take the gear off, turn the gear off. I'm noticing the tab is not moving on the yoke, so I mean on the throttle trim, so that has a little concern there. This tab is not moving, so I'm wondering if that motor is even working.
Vegas traffic, American 1611, 15 mile final, 26 left Vegas.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's, I mean it's flying, but I'm not sure it's not even trim's not even responding. Let's try this again. Let's shut it off again. Now there's also another version of the software, the TQ. I'm kind of curious. I'm going to try running it. Cancel that one and try running the TQ. So this is an older version of basically the same software that they've integrated into the trim is still not working. Or is it? The trim tab does not seem to be, yeah, now it's moving on the TQ. So the TQ-NG software works, but the hub doesn't. The new hub module software does not. Alright, so let's go and put this in command mode, and I'm going to bump my altitude up to 28 and monitor this a little bit and see how it performs. There's one feature they did add to the hub. The FS module hub is it should restart, but now that was with 2020. If it crashes or locks up, it's supposed to restart. Whereas the TQ-NG does not do that. So we'll see. Let's see.
Vegas traffic, American 1611, 5 mile final, 26 left Vegas.
Yeah, so just making a note about I had to switch to the hub. I mean, from the hub, when I noticed on takeoff roll, the trim was not working on the yoke, so I shut down the TQ. I don't know why. That you would think that the trim would be associated with the control loading software, but it's not. It's tied to the TQ software because the switch works, but the response to the software and to this piece of hardware doesn't. It's like whatever. It's crazy. I guess it all makes sense, but that's just how it's structured to work. All right, so we're at 20, we're at 14, 15, going to 28. All right, so let's see. Climb, autopilot's engaged. Pressure looks good. Gradient looks good.
Vegas Drive American 1611, short final 26 left Vegas.
We can turn all the lights off because we're above 10 and that's steady, so that's good. And we'll go back over to 122.8. And 8, and then put this on 121.5. Okay, so we're on the radar 2. Coming up to radar, passing above 13, so we're good there. So in some cases, there's no way to know if everything is working on, if the software is responding to the hardware until we have a change, like a change in attitude, change in altitude. And we're on the speed bug, so that's good. Okay, so it's just trimming now a little bit because we're turning, so it's going to lose altitude, so I had to throw a little bit of up trim. Makes sense. Levels out, it should throw a little bit of nose down trim. Oh, let's get black out of here. Black. Boom, there we go. Yeah, so it was still showing I had flaps up, so I just triggered them and that got them up. Okay. Something got lost in the, when it disconnected. I don't know if they were still out. Probably were still out. That's why speed was stuck at 230 and not climbing. Now we're going up. All right, so let's move this. I'm going to move this over here so I can see it, not cloud your view. But man, I wish you could see this from, if you haven't seen the scenery in 2024, it really is amazing. All right, I'm going to try the hub again. All right, it says it's connected. And this thing, what it does a little different is, see, it's constantly polling. Whether or not there's anything moving at all, it's constantly polling the position of the system. So if I throw, see if I throw the speed brake out there. Yeah, it'll show that in there. So any little bit of movement should be observed in the hub, but I don't know why it crashed. But I'm sure Luciano will get to it. I mean, the guys at FSC really are good. It's just It's got to be a monumental task to keep up with all this stuff. All right, so this is pretty much a flight. It's adjust your speed bug with course corrections, monitor your engines, monitor pressurization, and hope you don't get any warning lights, which we shouldn't because I don't have failures enabled. They come along naturally. All right. So I hope everyone is planning their Easter celebrations this week. This is Easter Sunday coming up. All right, so the FS, so the control loading software has disconnected again. So I'm going to terminate it, and I'm going to, it looks like the hub crashed again. So I'm going to launch the hub again. This is for the TQ. Okay, so it's working. And the yoke software again. So it just crashed on its own. Yeah, because as long as I can see in the axis 1 and 2 that it's reporting a position, then I know it's connected. If it were tracking autopilot, I'd see it moving, but it's not. So in preparation, the verse of today, verse for today is John 16:33. I have said these things to you that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. Amen to that, brother. All right, let's see. So we're done with the radar, and next thing we'll be doing is picking up the Angel 4. I think it's going to come in around Gleason. Shatner, let's see, where is it? Overlay. Black. Yeah, Sally is when I'll see it come in. Yeah, so if anybody's asking why is my lower DU on, it normally would not be on. I would not have it lit. But I wanted to see it so I could see movement of the controls when I was flying, when I was prepping the flight, and so normally it would be in off mode. But if I do lose control through the software, I want to be able to see if I can, because what I did yesterday on one of the flights is in flight actually turned off the hydraulics to see if there was going to be any effect, and then I couldn't get the system started back up again, so I just had to abort it. So I'm not going to do that today because I know that they will disconnect. Alright, so I am going to disconnect from VATSIM. I know that works because I want to accelerate this down, and there's no reason to sit here at we're 30 miles from top of drop. So what I can do, for those of you that are interested, you can go to menu here, config, no, menu, maintenance, is it? Yeah, so you got normal, and I can go to 2x speed, and then you'll see in the PFD it's showing 2x. So it's just elapsed time, speed, profile, whatever. I don't know what they call that anymore. I used to do that a lot when we flew in, was it FS economy? Because you had hours and hours of long flights. It's like this takes forever to get anywhere. So you accelerate the time. That's what it is. Time acceleration. And it will go to 4x, which I can say that the, in fact, let me see. That's 4x. It's a lot smoother in 2024. It would porpoise in 2020, but it doesn't do that in 2024. But I don't do this except because I'm only doing this because I'm testing. And then I'll change it before I get to a turn. So put it back in normal. Oh. Okay, well, it's all over with. It just crashed. Shoot. Yeah, the CDUs just went blank, so that means I have no flight plan, and they're locked up. So that's the end of this flight. Yeah. Let's see if I got any controls. Yeah, see, so the whole system locks up. So that's going to be it. Just prior to top of drop. All right, so this has happened before. In all fairness, I have had a couple of good flights from start to finish, but it's very inconsistent. So I don't know what to make of it. The only thing that I did not do this time when I did the complete shutdown of when I powered down everything was I didn't completely. Yeah, it's all locked up. I'm gonna have to shut it down. I didn't shut Microsoft off and start it up. So I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of times the only way to overcome these glitches is to just do a complete shutdown of everything and bring the PCs back up from cold and dark, so to speak, or from a cold start. So anyway, sorry about that, guys, but as you can see, everything is frozen. So we'll try it again another day.